Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we've got a really quite special review actually. This is one of the kind of major milestones for the channel. So I filmed my first review back on the 31st of July 2013. That was the Kirin Ichiban Lager. And it's quite funny to go back and watch the very first videos, you know, the crappy camera quality, just me not really knowing what I was doing or knowing all that much about beer, and then comparing it to the new ones where I like to think that I've learned a hell of a lot about beer. Different styles, home brewing, and all of these kind of things. So it's been really cool to do that over the last 5 years, and I've got quite a special beer to celebrate that. But first off, of course, I would love to thank all of you guys, the viewers, for the support that you've given the channel over the last 5 years. There's about 1900 or so subscribers now. It was never really about the numbers for me. I just quite enjoyed doing it. I liked researching about different parts of the world, different beers, different brewing techniques, and all of these sorts of things. And as I say, I like to think that I've learned a hell of a lot over the last couple of years, and a lot of that's been down to you guys actually pointing me in the right directions and saying try this beer, try that beer, oh this hop I find it has this, and all of that sort of thing. So to you guys, the viewers, a huge thank you for all the support over the last 5 years. For me, that's what craft beer is all about. It's about learning about different countries, making new friends, meeting good people, and travelling the world and trying local things. It's all about local produce as well. And I mean, I've had beer sent to me from all over the place. Fabrizio in Brazil, he sent me a really nice Scotch ale and that dark beer as well. Davor from Slovenia sent me a good couple of Slovenian beers as well. Johan in Sweden has sent me some, and of course Jesse over in America has sent me a good few beers as well. You saw him actually, you saw his review a couple of videos ago with the number 1314 Robert the Bruce, and he and his friend Kevin are actually the providers today of the beer for this review. So for this one we are going to go over to Michigan today. We've done quite a few reviews from Michigan actually, but we're going to do my first review from New Holland Brewing, and this beer is a little bit of a legend. This one is the Dragon's Milk. It's a bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout coming in at 11% ABV. This is one that I've heard some awesome things about, but I've just never ever got to try it because it doesn't make its way over to Europe, unfortunately. They distribute to something like 40 states over in America, but this is one of the beers that I've never actually seen make it over to Europe yet. Hopefully that changes at some point in the fairly near future. But as I said, a huge thank you to Jesse for sending this beer over, and from what I gather, it was his friend Kevin who actually gave him this one to send me. So a huge thank you to you guys. As I say, it's always cool to have viewers in all over the place, it's like sending me different beers and things. So a huge thank you, and I thought this would be appropriate for my 5th anniversary review. So here we go. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do at some point in the future from New Holland. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the American beers that I've reviewed for you. That's been added to whenever I can, of course. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about New Holland Brewing then, on to my brewery notes. So as I mentioned to you, New Holland Brewing are based in Holland in Michigan, and they were founded back in 1996 by Jason Spalding and Brett Vanderkamp. So Jason and Brett had grown up together in Midland in Michigan, and then both attended Hope College and got involved in some home brewing together. But after they finished university, they drew up a business plan and found investors, and then founded their brewery officially in 1996. They were joined by Dave White in 1997, who also attended Hope College, and he specialises in restaurant and pub management. But Jason Spalding left New Holland in 2005 and then went on to found Vibrant Brewing in Grand Rapids, mainly because he felt that he didn't want the hassle of a kind of massive commercial brewery. They basically just said there was a difference in the visions of what they actually had for the company. But Fred Baltman is also a partner of the company. He is also the head of branding and the marketing side of things as well. So these two other guys are quite involved in the business side of things, but Brett Vanderkamp remains in charge of the production as far as I can gather. But in 2005 they began distilling whiskey, rum and gin, and this went on sale in 2008. But by 2006 the brewery were producing around 600,000 litres of beer per year, and by 2015 they were producing 35,000 hectolitres per year. in 3 locations in Holland, of course, where they had their main brew pub, they had their production facility as well, and then they also had another location in Grand Rapids as well. And now they employ over 400 people and distribute to over 40 states in the US. They have their original brew pub, which I said is called the New Holland Pub, and they have another production facility in Holland, like I mentioned a minute ago. They've got the Knickerbocker, sorry, in Grand Rapids, and they're now working on another location in Battle Creek, which is a little bit to the south of Grand Rapids. It's more in the kind of southern part of the state. From what I understand, Holland is kind of on the west coast of Michigan a little bit, then Grand Rapids is kind of right in the middle of the state, and then you've got the Battle Creek, which is a little bit further towards the south. Detroit, the biggest city, of course, is kind of in the southeast. It's very, very close to the border with Canada, of course. But yeah, so that's all you really need to know about New Holland Brewing. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook and things and keep up to date with all the different stuff that's going on there. They're quite a prolific brewery. They had a number of different beers there when I was raking through the website. And this one is from their what they call their high fermentation series, so it should be a really interesting one. This, I don't think I've ever tried this beer before. I had a suspicion that I might have tried this in Copenhagen. One of the guys might have given me a sip of this, but I'm pretty sure it was something else. I'm sure it was an Imperial milk stout, whereas this one is simply just a barrel-aged stout. So the stats on this beer: it was brewed first off back in 2001. It's an 11% Imperial stout, hopped with Nugget and Brewer's Gold. The malt base in this one is quite extensive, of course. It has a malt base of 2-row Munich caramel, crystal, black, chocolate and flaked barley malts, and it uses a US ale yeast strain. So yeah, it should be a really interesting beer, this one, like I said. So without further ado, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So yeah, there you can see this one, of course, they've got a huge barrel aging facility from what I gather, but you can see that's depicted on the label of this beer, just like that, so you can see it with the light a little bit better, checking on the camera control. But yeah, really nicely presented beer, this one. There you can see the New Holland bottle cap on this one. Of course, I think that's yeah, it's a sort of like a windmill kind of thing. I think there is quite a famous windmill over in New Holland, and of course the windmill is just a symbol of the Netherlands, if you like. Everyone associates the windmills with the Netherlands. But yeah, nicely presented, this one. As I say, 11% Imperial Stout. It says on the back here, rich, roasty and creamy with heavy notes of vanilla and just enough familiar warmth from oak barrels. Reminds us that all of life's events, big or small, are worth celebrating. So yeah, let's celebrate the 5th anniversary of the channel here. It says you can pair it with red meat, smoked foods, balsamic, rich cheese and dark chocolate. So yeah, should be quite cool. So without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Lost the bottle cap to the floor, but there you can see, nice smoky opening there. It says on this one, bottled on 10/24/17, also the other way around, 24th of October 2017, because the Americans like to do their dates backwards, of course. But yeah, so let's get this guy out and see how we get on. And as you can see, it's pouring a really nice dark sort of ebony rosewood colour, this one, which, you know, is what you would expect from the Imperial Stout, to be honest. I'm surprised there's not a bit more head on that, right enough. But yeah, as you can see, nice dark ebony rosewood colour. There's quite a few bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass in this one. So maybe it's going to have a little bit of carbonation there. But I would have expected it to have just a little bit more head than that. But at 11%, you know, usually when the alcohol is high like that, the head can disappear sort of fairly quickly. But yeah, really nicely presented beer, this. It looks really, really good. If I hold it up to the light, there is a little bit of a ruby edge to it, maybe a very, very dark chestnut, but pretty much it looks exactly as you would expect from an Imperial Stout. There's quite a few small bubbles visible in this one, and a couple of bigger bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass as well. But let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this beer. Ooh, that smells nice. This is what I always say, you've got to take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beers before you get stuck into them. Yeah. There's a hell of a lot of brown sugar in this one. It's got a really nice dark sort of treacle note to it, but it's also got that sweet kind of caramel note. There's a little bit of toasted quality in there as well, but the brown sugars in this beer are really quite dark. You can definitely smell the sort of woody, the kind of oaky, bourbony notes to this beer as well, definitely. So it's got a lovely, just big sweetness to it, this one. It's maybe even got a little touch of licorice or something like that in it. The Swedes would love this then. The Swedes absolutely love licorice. But yeah, lovely big dark treacle molasses sort of thing coming out of this beer. Sweeter caramel, like I said. There's a good bit of kind of high cocoa chocolate in there as well. You can smell that dark chocolate, but it does have this underpinning, like I'm saying, of a nice oaky wood. There's a little bit of a spicy note to it, some vanilla definitely coming out of this beer as well. Maybe a little touch of nuts or something like that. But it's got a nice roasted element to that brown sugar in there as well. There's maybe a little bit of an earthy hop, but that's quite minimal. This beer really is all about the malts, and there's definitely some red fruity notes coming out of the beer. For me, it's got a little bit of that raisiny or kind of plum sharpness when it comes to these red fruits actually, but it smells absolutely beautiful. This beer, for me, in terms of an Imperial Stout, this one definitely leans towards the brown sugar side of things. This one, in terms of aroma, is definitely leaning towards that kind of sweeter, malty side of things. But yeah, let's just get on and have a taste of this beer then. This one, I would say, it's not, I mean, I have to go right into it to kind of get the aroma out of it. It's not one of the more pungent Imperial Stout aromas that you're going to come across. But let's just see how we get on with this one then. So this one is the Dragon's Milk from New Holland Brewing Company, an Imperial Stout at 11% bourbon barrel aged. Huge thank you to Jesse and his friend Kevin for sending this beer over for me. Thank you for all your support over the last 5 years when I've been doing this. Let's get stuck into this one then. Slàinte, skål. Aye. This is one of these beers where you can just say, straight away, I can see why it's so highly rated. It's a beast. There's no other way to describe this beer. It's an absolute beast. It's a monster of a beer. Yeah. That's lovely. I mean, the thing that's striking me about this beer straight away is sort of how smooth it is. And a thing I like about this, you do get a little bit of the alcohol warmth out of this one, which is nice. For me, that helps bring out the some of the brown sugary notes to the beer. A lot of the boozy characters that you get in beer are kind of covered by the brown sugars. But yeah, for me, that's just a really lovely, lovely beer. I'm glad that I got to try this. So as I say, huge thank you to Jesse and Kevin for this one. But yeah, let's have a go at this then. So with this beer, in the middle of your palate where the malts are going to come out, this one, it's got a really oily centre of the palate. Actually, you can feel there's a little bit of that. There is a very little bit of bready quality, that just kind of blankets the middle of your palate. That forms the sort of base of the beer, but that's very, very minimal. This beer is all about the big syrupy kind of brown sugars for me. Right in the middle of your palate, you can get that sort of dark treacle molasses note in there. As you move a little bit further out, you start to get the kind of lighter, sweeter caramels there. Those do actually seem a little bit kind of well toasted, if you like, and then as you're moving out towards the edge of the tongue, you really start to get a little bit more of the kind of biscuity, a sort of biscuity caramel wafery notes out of this beer. But there's definitely some sort of dark, high cocoa chocolate mixing in with all of that, which is quite nice. Yeah, what I would say about this beer as well, sugar it around your palate and let your whole mouth adjust to it, because there's so much going on in this one. You really just need to let your palate adjust to this. It's a big oily monster of a beer. Yeah, it's lovely, this. You can feel that sort of oaky, woody note just kind of forming the underpin of the beer. When you take this in, you get the sort of top of the flavour, and then it just sort of dies off a little bit, and that's when you get the nice woody and the vanilla notes really start to come out of this beer. As you go further into the aftertaste, it's the thing that's lingering there is that nice bourbony woody note, and the sort of the vanilla flavour just lingering there. There is definitely a little bit of a nutty quality towards the front of your palate with this one for me. I do think there's a little touch of a nutty flavour in there. But yeah, in terms of an Imperial Stout, the way that the woody vanilla flavours come out of this one is really, really nice. I mean, you could be forgiven with this beer for thinking they've added some sort of lactose or something like that to it. It has that smoothness, but I don't think, I'm pretty certain actually that it doesn't have lactose actually added to it, but it certainly gives you a smoothness that is quite similar to that. So thumbs up to them for that. That's quite impressive when you consider you know, how big an alcoholic beer this one actually is. The hops, as you would expect with this beer, are, you know, really quite smooth. You've got a little bit of earthy bitterness in the back corners of the palate. That really smooths out as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue. There's maybe a little touch of a very, very slight floral character on the front corners of the palate, but then round the very front curve of the tongue, it is a little bit, it's definitely lighter than that, and just a very slight kind of grassy note. The hops are dominated by the sort of earthy notes, I would say. But it's just, this beer's beautiful. There's a lot of red fruit coming out of this one, just behind the front curve of the palate there. As I always say, if you go behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where the juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer. For me, I would say it's definitely the sort of slightly sharper red fruits that are coming out of this one. Yeah, it has a little bit of that kind of candied strawberry base to it, but then it also has some of that sharper sort of plum and raisiny note to the beer. There's definitely the sharper red fruits coming out of this one, and as you go further into the aftertaste, right on the tip of the tongue, it's just a little bit of a candied red fruit there, but then just behind that, it's the slightly sharper plums and sort of raisiny qualities that it might even have some sort of pruny notes in it as well, to be honest with you. It might be prunes, but it's definitely got a bit of that sharper red fruity quality. And as I say, when you go further into the aftertaste, the brown sugars are lingering there, a little bit of that woody note is there. I think the vanilla, I would say in fairness, the vanilla starts to die down after a little while, but that sort of very slightly spicy, smooth, woody quality to the beer, that lingers there. The brown sugars are lingering, a little bit of the earthy hops there as well, and then the fruity notes really do linger a little bit into the aftertaste as well. But I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful beer, this one. I'm really, really quite happy that I was able to try this. So, you know, I can't really express how kind of grateful I am to Jesse and Kevin for sending this one over, because it's just a cracking beer. I'm really happy that I got to review this, and it's it's an awesome beer to do for the 5th anniversary channel, or for the 5th anniversary of the channel, I should say. I can't speak, maybe the 11%'s gone to my head already. But in terms of the mouthfeel then, definitely a full-bodied beer. Carbonation's very smooth in this one, incidentally. I thought it was going to have a little bit of a prickle to it, to be honest, when I saw it coming out into the glass. And it does have a little bit, but you know, it's a big oily beer, this one. Like I was saying, overall the mouthfeel does lean towards the oily side of the things. I mean, look, when you're sugaring this beer up, you can see just the oily character that it's leaving on the sides of the glass there. It's a really big oily beer, this one. The malt base has a really nice balance in it. It does lean towards the sweet side of things. There is a little bit of the roasted black malty character in there, but really it leans towards the sweet side of things. You've got the nice dark chocolate in there, but then you've got the brown sugars on top of that as well. It's got a nice darker kind of sweetness to it, if that makes sense. There's a good balance between the roasty notes and the sweeter side of things. Hops are very, very smooth, and you've got a nice red fruity note to this one as well. It does have a little touch of sharpness to it. But overall, I think it's just fair to say this is just a really, really well balanced beer. It would be interesting to age a few of these and just see how you get on with them. But for me, just a beautiful, beautiful beer, and you know, a perfect one to review for the 5th anniversary. So I think we should just leave it at that. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Thank you for your support over the last 5 years. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from New Holland Brewing as well. Hopefully I can get out to the Michigan, sort of Chicago area and visit Jesse and try a few more of the beers from that region. And I'm sure Jesse said he wants to join me over in Copenhagen and South Sweden at some point, so you'll maybe see him in a few videos at some point in the future. One of the really long-term subscribers of the channel. But thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. As I say, let me know your own thoughts on this beer. Let me know your favourite New Holland beers. Let me know some other Imperial Stouts from America that I should check out as well. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout, 11% from New Holland Brewing Company based in Holland over in Michigan. An awesome beer and a really cool one to do for the 5th anniversary review. Until the next time, Slange just now, and I will see you guys soon. Over the next few videos, you will have a mixture of reviews filmed in England and ones filmed in Scotland and some filmed in Sweden as well. So keep an eye out for those, and I will catch you guys very soon. Slange, skål.